Hi, this is Dr. Lanier, and this is my new YouTube channel and something that I hope just grows and grows. We're starting a Facebook page. This is called Brothers in Bow Ties, and that's the reason I'm donning the bow tie today, and I'm going to tell you a lot more about the reason for Brothers in Bow Ties. But this is the beginning of it. So this is number one, Brothers in Bow Ties. Uh, um, First video. So what we want to do with Brothers in Bow Ties, and the reason I'm here is because I feel as though I'm compelled to be here now. I'm compelled to give back from what I've been given through all of the years, the people that have helped me, the brothers that were out front to help me, and there are a lot of brothers that are behind me that need my help. And I think that the reason I'm here is because it's time for me to be here. I've paid my dues. I've been very successful, and I think that it's a need for people like myself, professionals. I'm a dentist. I own 14 offices. I've been doing this for a long time. I have, over the years, offices that I now own or have owned. I've earned over $120 million, which is a lot. I don't have $120 million now, but my companies have made $120 million over the years. So I know I've been there, and I'm still making things happen. And I didn't come from money. I came from a family of 11 kids, rural North Carolina. Neither parents were educated, but they set me off in a road. And a lot of people along the way have helped me. And I want to be able to help other young black and brown men to keep that direction from going towards this institutional pay system where they get you institutionalized in prison, and on the direction of education and entrepreneurship. And I want to speak about that because I was just challenged a couple of days ago by a friend that was saying he doesn't think that education is necessarily the way, or that it's overblown, overhyped by a lot of people. And I think that a lot of times people that get education don't do a lot with it. You know, you can find PhDs, MDs, DDSs, whomever that, and some of them have dual and triple degrees, and they still don't have anything as far as economics. And that's what I know a lot of people are looking at. But don't blame it on education, because as I was thinking, you won't find a lot of people that are in their 40s or 50s who are saying, oh, I wish I didn't go and get all of this education. You'll more than likely find people who are there at the 50s and say, I blew it. I should have taken advantage of it while I was there and gotten a better education. So don't ever be fooled by someone saying that we don't need it. You'll find a lot of people in prison, and it's proportional. The people that are in prison normally are the ones that don't have education. And if you have a good education, at least you're earning somewhere in reasonable income. Now, you may not be making millions of dollars, and so it may not necessarily be commensurate with your education, but education is very, very important. But to get back to what I want to do, Brothers in Bow Ties, this thing has to go, and it's bigger than me. It's not about me. I have a son, and he's, you know, I'm one of the fathers that started younger as far as, but my son is 8 years old. So I want to put this out there so that if I'm not around, he has something to listen to. You know, I'm working on a book, but I think that a lot of times, especially now in this day and age, people like their information from video. So I'm trying to leave some video for my kids, especially my son, because black and brown men had a hard time in this country, and not only in this country, in the entire world. I've been successful, and a lot of people helped me when, you know, I had no intentions of going on to college and furthering my education till I got out there and worked for a couple of years. And the money was fairly good, but I couldn't see it going anywhere. And that's what this is about, going places, having a destination or a goal. And with that, I want to go to, I have just a little a presentation that if I can share my screen. So this is one of my first times doing this, so be patient with me here. So I'm trying to share my screen. Brothers in Bow Ties 1. Is that it? No. Maybe it's this. 3D and share. Is that how I do it? Okay, so I go here and play. Okay, there I am. Hopefully you can still see the screen, or I could share. Maybe we'll do it like that. Brothers in Bow Ties, entrepreneurs in the making. That's what we're really looking for. And the purpose of it, like I said, young men of color, black, brown, whomever, I want to be there leading from the front. I want other black and brown and whomever mentors to be out there reaching for these kids and trying to give back and reaching back and pulling forward and leading from the front, driving and pulling. Because what we really want are young people that are self-directed, self-disciplined, lifestyle by design. They want to create their own lifestyle. And I go back to that self-directed and self-disciplined, because I think a lot of times people think they're sending kids off to the military and so forth, and they'll come back disciplined and directed. Anybody can be disciplined to the point when somebody has a gun and they tell you, you know, you're going to be. So it's not self-discipline. That's somebody else disciplining your child and making them get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. When that child can become a man and roll out of bed by himself at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, now you got somebody going somewhere. They're on a path. They have a purpose. They're going. So my purpose is to give back. I'm going to push this thing because I committed to it, and hopefully I can get other people to commit to it. I'll tell you more about the purpose. This is me and my kids. My son looked like he's going to sleep here. My daughter had to be in the picture. I had to get him with a bow tie, and I tell you another story about the little bow tie thing, but let me, okay, he's awake here. But I did tie the bow ties. You can see I'm not too good at it. That's something that, I don't know, I wish they still made a lot of the ones that clip on, but now you have to learn to tie your own tie. And we're going to do a little thing to show the brothers how to do that. I think, one, at first, I think all young men should know how to tie a tie. There's a Windsor, there's single knot Windsor, single knot Windsor, or double knot Windsor with the regular tie. Then there's this bow tie thing, and how do you tie a bow tie? You got to know these things before you send them out as young men. You got to prepare these guys, and that's what we're all about on this channel, and what we're trying to achieve is preparation. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Those are the P's. I'll get back to the P's one day, but before that, I'm going to hit the D's. Look at that, man in bow tie. I mean, that's somebody to emulate. Got another one for you. Eric Holder. I mean, these are brothers in bow ties. These are brothers that deserve some respect. Speaking of that, here's the thing. When they put on that bow tie, 3D character, 3Ds right here. This is your character, and I didn't spell it right here. Let me go back. See, okay, maybe I did. Anyway, distinguished, dignified, and destined. That's the look that you get, and those are the characteristics. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. Distinguished. You put somebody in a bow tie and that white shirt, is automatically, they look distinguished, successful, authoritative, and commanding great respect. And I'll talk more about the respect. But if you get them authoritative and successful looking, showing dignity and authority in one's appearance and manner, that's a distinguished look. And that's what we're trying to get. I mean, they're not going to dress like this all of the time, but on occasions when it's called for and there are specific times to put on and don a bow tie, they should be proud of it. It's like a uniform that we could get the brothers in bow ties as a uniform they wear on specific days. It may only be once a month, but on that day, or if it's every Monday, I think you want to have them getting that kind of look. Also looks dignified. And this white shirt and tie, because it's all about uplifting them. This is about their character, having or showing composed or serious manner that is worthy of respect. You see, respect pops up in every one of them, and that's the thing when their appearance, and it looks like they deserve or they're garnering respect as they go through. Stately, noble, courtly. Those are the synonyms: majestic, distinguished, proud. You know, August, I don't know what that means as far as this. Anyway, lofty, exalted, regal, lordly. These are some of the characteristics that you want to display. And then I said destined. Reason destined, because a person who's destined of a person's future. That's what we're talking about, future. Developing as though according to a plan. Wow, that is big. Developing as though according to a plan. You got to look like you're going somewhere, certain to meet a particular fate. You even look like it. You start to feel like it. Intended for, or traveling towards a particular place. That is the kind of thing I'm telling you guys. If I can go back and let me see, how do we get out of here? So I want to go from shared screen back to me on screen. Okay. So there's a few things there that I wanted to cover, because I think that I have to be careful in that I'm not trying to tell anyone how to dress, or I'm not trying to lead somebody down a path just because I think that, well, maybe I am, because I think that's the best path. If we're going to get, and I'll tell you, I graduated dental school from Meharry in Nashville, Tennessee, the oldest private black medical dental school in the nation. And when I was there some years ago, Dr. Henry Moses, one of the recruiters, he was saying, I want you guys to go back and try to get some young black males at the age, he said, you need to start looking at them around age 12. Because, one, if you're going to do something and you need to move on to when you're in college and take certain courses that are prerequisites, you need to have a little background. So you need to get them on a path early on. And I'll tell you, I'm going to bring and do an interview with my nephew. I have a 15-year-old nephew who's on a path for law school. He's always talked about he's going to Duke Law School. Now it's triangular. I mean, he's bifurcated, and he's either Duke or Columbia. But he's already spent his summer there in one of the summer programs. But the reason, and there are a lot of kids that are like that, they know when they're 10, 12 years old, and that's the thing, having the goal early on and just keep going towards it. I tell the story to everybody I meet about a friend of mine who's a physician. We're in the same Bible class, but he told a story about, you know, we talk about be, do, and have, so I'll jump around a little bit, but talking about being and who you are, he was saying that since he was like a little boy at 5 years old, he knew he was a doctor. It took time to get there, to manifest, but he said he's always been a doctor. And that's the kind of way, that's the mindset that you have to get where you're going. You have to know where you're going. You have to have some kind of destination, some kind of goal. So we want to talk about that with the kids, and you have to work at this early on. And I just wanted to throw this in. I do want to share my screen again because I have not finished what I wanted to show. And which one is this? I think it must have been this one. No. Let me see. How do I go back? I go back and I say share screen again. And I'm still not there, guys. Give me a second. I was on one of these. Brothers in Bow Ties one. This one. Okay. I think that's it. Okay, yes. So here we go. I'm learning this thing as I go. You know, this is all new to me. I'm hoping that I'm still recording. It does say live. So if I'm not, I'll just do it over again. We talk about the big G. When you hear the big G, you always think big G, God. So God is definitely an integral part of everything that we do, and and where you're going. If you don't have some kind of guidance in your life, you see, I put in here guidance, God and guidance, because you have to be able to hear that still small voice. And I'm not just only talking to the kids right now. I'm talking to parents, because parents are the ones that's responsible for your child doing or not doing. It's most of the time they talk about nature or nurture. It's a balance between both. I mean, some of it, is nature. You know, certain kids, they're born to certain parents that do things certain way, but most of it is nurture. It's like it's 90%, 90 some odd percent work, and how you set a person's mindset. Your mindset can change everything. I was just talking about it this morning. Like, to one person, the day could be rotten and crappy. And when I was in dental school, the janitor, they called him Beautiful Day because everybody he met, he was like, beautiful day, beautiful day. Everything to him was beautiful day, and never even bothered to learn his name. It was just, and he was always happy. It's hard to have to be sad when you're telling everybody beautiful day. And you know, same thing in life. When you're directed and you're going places and you're positive, it's hard to lose. So, and God gives you guidance. That still small voice that speaks to you in the back of your head, then when nobody else is giving you all this input. And we normally don't listen to that because we drown it out with all of this input, running around asking people what they think of certain things when they really don't know, especially if a person has never been there, never done anything. How are they going to know? So, big G, guidance from God. You need to be able to listen. And I'll tell you one more thing about that. Every now and then, you got to take the headphones off. You know, I know now we have the I'm trying to call the name of them, the one that you put over your ear and you put it on, put some sunglasses on, and the world pretty much just disappears. It's you, your music, and the dark glasses. Nobody can really, because they see the big headphones on, they know they can't talk to you. They see the glasses. Now you're into a world where you don't really have to get the input. So a lot of times it's to keep from thinking, though. We have to be able to think. We need to set aside some time to think and set some goals and guidance and set a path and work backwards and come up with a plan where we're trying to go. And you got to help the kids, the younger kids, get this. So if not, direct them to me. This is what I do. This is what I've been living a long time, is trying to, especially for myself, is work on a plan, a pattern and a plan that would get me to where I'm trying to go. Excuse my phone, forgot to turn it off. Anyway, another G, the golden rule. He who has the goal makes the rule. Now, the thing that is so beautiful about it is not just the GOLD, it's GOAL. It's the goal. He who has the goal makes the rules. You know, now they have this this new company that's this electric cars, Tesla. Tesla makes these electric cars. I was just thinking about that. And the founder and CEO is a young, kind of young guy, Elon Musk. But if you walked in there and they say, well, who sets the rules? They're going to turn to this guy because he's the founder. He's the guy with the goals. I want to make this car this way. He sets the goals. He makes the rules. And that's something you need to remember. He who has the goals, or he who's out there, the ones who's the boss, who's the chief, they can make the rules because they've decided to take the risk. They have the goal, and they're the ones that's going for it. They get the goal. They get the ching-ching. That's where it comes back. So he who has a goal makes the rules. Don't ever forget that one. Need to write that one down. Let me go back. He who has a goal makes the rule. Very important. Write that down. Now, I'm going to cover a couple more things, and then I'm going to end this one. We'll talk some more later. But I came up with these 3 circles of D's. The 3 circles, and this is kind of like the D principle. You'll get to that. But the circles are character, a mental circle, and a navigational circle. Now I'll leave this, and I'll show you a little more about it in the next one. But and I'm not very good with these graphics, so I didn't do all of these beautiful graphics for you. I'm giving you meat and potatoes because that's who I am. That's what I can do right now. Giving meat and potatoes, I can do these kinds of presentations. I don't want to learn all of that. I could hire someone, but at another time. Hopefully you get enough from this that you take away the essence. That's what it's all about. Character. Like I said, you got to be someone. That's where we got to start. who you are, or who are you, because there's a principle, and I'll give credit to this, is be, do, have. Someone, I read the book, and I'll credit the book later on. Be, do, and have. It's saying that first you have to be before you can do, and then you'll have. Take the instance I just said, my friend who's a doctor. He was a doctor. He be, like they say, who you be. He was being a doctor since he was 5, already in his mind. So what did he do? He did the things that he needed to do to be the doctor, to have the paper. And if you want to be a wealthy, rich doctor, you do the things, you'll be that in your head before you do the things that will bring you riches, and then you will have those things. So don't ever get it twisted, and get it backwards. That's what most people do. They want to have before they are, and it can't work that way. This is just principles of and laws of nature, and then that goes even further. A friend of mine, if you'll remember this one, he said, Lanier, it's not what you have that determines who you are, but who you are that determines what you have. It's the same thing. It's just said differently. It's not who you are. It's not what you have that determines who you are. Because most people, if you really think about it, they kind of make that who they are. I'm a doctor, or I'm the guy with the riches that live on the hill, or I'm a poor nobody that lives in a small house and don't have a job. So, you're making what you have determine who you are. Determine who you are first, and then you'll do, because doing is a big part of it. Doing is a big part, and sometimes you can't do unless you already know who you are and where you're going. So then it brings it to the next part, which is a mental part. You have to be discontented with where you are, determined to move to that next level. And then there's all kind of decisions all day long, decisions every minute. Everything in life is about decisions, and you got to be able to make good decisions, based on evidence and facts that are coming in, and sometimes just on past experience, decisions start to happen. But if you don't have those experiences, that's why you got to get out there and get on the road and experience a lot of things, and decisions will happen. You're not always going to make the right ones. You're just going, and things start to happen. But before all of that, the destination is so, so, so important. That's why I say navigational. You have to have a destination, and then it's all about direction, going in the right direction. And that is all a part of your development, your personal and your business development. It's all the same. It's all going in the same direction. If you can't develop your business unless you develop yourself. And because once you develop self, you can go and do business after business after business, because the principles remain the same. The manifestations change, but the principles are the same throughout business and throughout life, pretty much. If you're going to be successful, you can use the same success principle and just apply them in different areas of life. So I put this together. It's like the 3D series. You see the red? That goes back to what I was saying: character, distinguished, dignified, destined or destination. This is the bow tie. This is the feel you have to have. You got to be you have to express a certain character in life so that people know that you're moving. And like they say, if you're walking down a sidewalk, and when you got some place to go and you got to get there, you're moving. People almost move out the way because they could tell you're distinguished. You're going places. They look up and they see this person moving through the crowd. You're going places. You're destined for something, And then if you're tall and dressed, standing out with a white shirt and a bow tie, they need to step back. Sometimes they're like, "Who is that?" That person is somebody. I don't know who, but I need to step back and let them get through. The blue, discontentment. If you aren't discontented with where you are, if you're happy and content and fat wherever you are, just sitting and taking in all of the fruits of the land and your labor, you're not going to be hungry to get up and go out and fight for going somewhere else. It's only when you're discontented and you've had it, you're fed up, you can't take it anymore, you're ready to move on. That's when you're going to make something happen, and you got to make some decisions. Everything. You cannot defer your decision makings over to somebody else. And that's what a lot of times people do. They aggregate their decision making to mom or to their brother or to their wife or to the husband or to the boss at work. You have to become a decision maker yourself. And every decision, like I tell my son, every decision has consequences. Good or bad, there are always consequences associated with every decision. So make some good decisions, you know, sit and think about it before you make decisions. And then the development. This is what I was talking about. Development is all a part of your developmental process. You can develop yourself, and then you can start developing businesses. But unless you take some time and some interest in developing yourself and becoming a better self, you're not going to be able to develop any kind of business. You're going to depend on other people all the time. You develop yourself, and now you can get up and you learn to fish. Until then, you're waiting on people to bring you fish, and some people are sitting back waiting on the fish sandwich. Oh, and don't put too much of the mayo on mine, you know, that kind of thing. No, we're not about that. We're teaching you to fish and telling you where they are so you can go get them yourself. So that's what direction and a destination, determination. See, it starts to overlap. Like I say, the circles overlap. But if you have a destination, you know where you're going, and now you can have direction, and you'll be disciplined to really, if you know, like to say, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. You don't have a lot of time to play around if you're going. You know, you're trying to get where you want to go now. So let me see if I can come back on screen here. Boom. Okay, so I'm back. I think what I was talking about, the navigational part of the circles, you have to have direction. We used an analogy in my Bible class. The teacher used an analogy. If we're here in LA, and someone would say, well, I'll meet you in San Francisco, and you get on the road and you're headed to San Diego. Now those in opposite direction. You could leave here and you could be making good time. You could be traveling really fast, and someone call you and say, well, where are you at? I'm not really sure, but I'm making good time. Yes, but in the wrong direction. You have to have the right direction. You're going south and you're supposed to be going north. Not going to help you a lot. And you have to know where you're going. You have to have some kind of destination. And by and large, most people in life have no destination or goal. Like I said, the big G is your goal. What are you trying to, and it's more than just, well, I want to be rich, I want to have money. Because what you have to do is find out, how am I going to create something of value that I can trade for being rich or having a lot of money? Because I'll use this one. Over the years, once I heard this, I've repeated it over and over and over again throughout life. Zig Ziglar, one of the motivational speakers, he said, you can have everything you want in life if you can find enough other people, if you can help enough other people have what they want. Let me repeat that. You can have everything you want in life if you can help enough other people have what they want in life. So it's not about you. You're going to have just by bringing it to other people. But if you're only thinking about yourself, you're going to defeat the whole thing. What you have to do is say, what kind of value can I bring to the table and help other people have what they want so that I can have what I want? So you got to work backwards and find, so you set the goal, and now you work backwards to where you are, and you have to be realistic about where you are, and then you can start your march forward. So you have to have all of those D's, and what I'm going to try to do on the Facebook page is to attach some PDFs so that you can have the notes that I now have here. I can share them with you. But we're working on this. This is number one. I'd like to also say this, and I hope not to offend anybody when I say this, but I've found over the years this to be true. 25 years old, and biologically, anabolism takes place in the body until about 25, and then the rest of our lives is catabolism or breakdown. The first 25 years is building up, and then from then on, you're pretty much breaking down. I need you to move if you're a young man, because I found this to be true. Most guys that don't make something happen by age 25 pretty much aren't going to make it happen. They're never going to reach any high success most of the time, not everybody, but I'm saying by and large, if you handicap yourself by sitting around till you're 25 years old, you're probably going to wind up talking regret the rest of your life. So you need to move. And I say that with the sense also to tell a lot of parents. Dave, my dad, died when I was in college, but he used to, he was always there when I was growing up. So it's not like one of those black kids that didn't have a father. He had 11 kids, but he was always there. And poor as we were, but there were certain things, principles he taught, and one of them was that by age 18, one, you're going to graduate school, because he wasn't going to allow you to stay in his house after you were 18 without paying rent and having a job and paying rent, or leave and go to college. You only had those choices. You could not just stay there and hang out. And I see kids all of the time. And I know a lot of times moms saying, no, well, that's my baby. He can stay here. No, if he's a man, he needs to get out and go to work. He needs to get a job or go to school. If there's something mentally wrong and it's handicapped, I can understand. Physically handicapped. But even physically, you can still get out and try. Most of the people I run into that say they can't find a job and been sitting around for a few years, if you ask them how many applications put in the last few months, it's probably less than 3. If you got 40 hours that you would be willing to work a week, why not put in 40 hours a week, just put in applications, going places, and be willing to take any job? I'll tell you something about that, and I'm going to end this thing. Here's here's the crux of this one. This is very important. Take this down. Most of the people who refuse to take a job doing some low wage or undesirable job are usually the people who aren't going anyplace. So they see themselves stuck there for years. I'm telling you, when I was in college and I knew where I was going, I'd already decided I was going to go out to dental school, I could get a job in a restaurant and they say, even sometimes busting tables and doing dishes, and then they said, Jerry, you got to clean the bathrooms. And I was like, oh, no, come on. And, our toilets are stopped and so forth. But when you're just passing through, it's no big deal. Give me the mop, give me whatever, because I'm just here for a minute. I'm going places. I got places to go, and this is just as Dave used to tell us when I grew up on the farm. He sent you to the store. Go in a haste, come to pace. Don't stay long at any place. He wants you rolling, and when he tells you to go, go now. And and I expect you back in a few, because he's working. He wanted his goodie powder and his cigarettes, So we had to move. There's nothing wrong with work, because I'll tell you this, they're never going to get there without work. And allowing someone to have a crutch and lay around when they're 19, 20, 30 years old and they're still at home doing that, stop lying to yourself. Junior is never going to turn out to be anything unless someone pushes him. So we're going to start this thing with these bow ties. But brothers, I don't want you putting on a uniform if you're not part of the team. If once you're part of the team, that means that we are pilgrims. We're just passing through these little things. We're going on to entrepreneurial success, to get education and do different things. And I'll end it with this one. Dr. Lemire, sometimes I go places and there may be that I'm the only black doctor in the room. And as I'm entering, the guys at the door sometimes is Hispanic, sometimes it's black, and they'll say, sir, doctor, sir, hey, chief. Now all of a sudden I'm chief. Or, or maybe it's boss. Hey, boss, and I'd like for you to stop disrespecting yourself. It's not necessarily disrespecting me, but it is disrespecting yourself. If you're black or brown and you can't call me doctor, but you could call all of them doctor. I make all of the vendors and so forth, anybody dealing with me, you know, a lot of times people want to call me Jerry, and I say stop. You're not allowed to do that because we're doing business, and if you're going to do business with me, I'm Dr. Lanier. And I remember I interviewed a MBA from Harvard, and he wanted to come and work for me, and he kept calling me Jerry, and I said, let's stop here. Can you refer to me as Dr. Lanier? And he said, why? I didn't ask you to call me Mr. So-and-so. I said, well, I could call you Mr., but the only reason I would ask you to call me doctor because I am a doctor, and I'm not. It's not because of me. It's because of my mom. It's because of people like Harriet Tubman. It's because of the people that died, you know, fighting for our rights to vote, the ones that marched. So that I could go to dental school, and the other ones that go to medical school and do certain things. You think that Barack Obama or Eric Holder would have a problem calling me Dr. Lanier? No. I have, at my Bible school, the dean of the Bible school is 94-year-old black doctor. Every time he refers to me, he says Dr. Lanier. And it's not just mutual respect for me or my person. He's respecting what it is. The respect doesn't go to me. It goes to the people who are back there, who are laying out there with humps in the ground, that died to get us to the point that we could be referred to as that. So it's not the respect to me. I'm nobody to respect, but it's for my mom, who is down scrubbing floors and ironing shirts for other people so that I could get to this position. It's doctor then. It's that respect. So don't disrespect yourself, because if you want to go somewhere, you're going to need the same respect that you pay to me to give to yourself. So teach your kids, teach them why they have to do these things, and it's going to make everything better. I got a lot of stuff I'd like to share. It's all about sharing, and that's the whole thing about mentoring, is sharing. It's nothing I want from you except for bettering your child so that your next generation can step up, raise up, and do better than we're doing. So we're going to don the bow ties every couple of Mondays. We'll ask that brothers put on bow ties because it represents something. It represents standing up and doing something. I also would like to don my hat occasionally, but I'm not going to do that every Monday. But yeah, I know, dignified. Let's make it happen. I'll see you next time. Thank you.